Hallo en welkom bij week 7, les 1. Wij gaan praten over ziek zijn en ons lichaam. Wij geven graag bloemen als we ziek zijn, dus vandaar de tulpen. So we love to give flowers when someone's sick, and hence the tulips are famous Dutch flower, as I hope you know. And if you've been to the Netherlands, als je naar Nederland bent geweest, misschien ben je naar het Keukenhof gegaan, like a sort van park where you can see hundreds of thousands of tulips. Very, very pretty and beautiful. Laten we kijken naar ons lichaam. So, ons lichaam is our body. Okay, so het lichaam is our body. So, our entire body, we would say lichaam. It's where you can lie with. It's what you embody. And, you know, like if you're alive, you might feel light and positive, which then would very be close to the word licht, which means light. Okay. I'm pretty sure this word actually stems from Latin. So it is quite a bit different to the word body, and it might take some time for you to remember and get used to. What we'll do is I'm going to encourage you to read the next word. So I'll make sure I'll keep my mouse when I want you to read it. Then I will read it, and then we're going to see if we can find it on the body. All right. And make sure that you look at, so these are just the body parts or features of the face, and see if you are actually able to guess what it means beforehand. So use your logic, use your imagination, and see if you can find out to kind of give yourself a boost for how much you actually know or actually can relate to. All right, laten we beginnen. Wat is dit? Het hoofd. En waar is het hoofd? Het hoofd is here. Het hoofd is the head. So the entire head is called het hoofd. Cool. Wat is dit? Het oog. Waar is het oog? Het oog is here, the eye. So think about eye, oog. We talked about that one before, droog and oog, eye. All right, so het oog is the eye. Heel goed. All right. Dan hebben we het volgende woord. Het oor. Very similar to oog, but then with an oor. That should be an easy one to guess. Het oor is the ear. Het oor, ear. Okay. Ear in Dutch is actually an honor, so don't get that wrong. So double E-R, ear, is honor. So what an ear, what an honor. And het oor is je ear. So make sure you don't confuse those. Wat is dit? Neus. Make sure you say the O here. Neus. De neus. Shouldn't be too far off. De neus is the nose. De nose is the nose. Wat is dit? De mond. Make sure you say it as a T here. Not mond, maar mond. De mond is your mouth. Your mouth is the mond. Yeah. Again, similar because the TH transforms into a D. It does start with the MO, but then we have a turnaround view. The mond is your mouth. Very, very easy, but make sure you say this more Dutch than English. So not the arm, maar de arm. Okay, arm. De arm is je arm. Dat is hetzelfde. Same as this. Make sure you say Dutch pronunciation, meaning the D is a T. So not hand, maar hand. Okay? Hand. De hand. Next one. Wat is dit? De buik. Make sure you say ui, not au. Ui. De buik. De buik might be a trickier one as well. And the buik is your tummy. So your entire tummy or your belly, we call it buik. Okay. Easy one. De vingers. Again, the F turns usually into a V. We see that here. And of course, that means the fingers. De vingers. Not fingers, maar vingers, like ring. Vingers. Yeah. Next one. Het gezicht. Zicht is similar to sight. And it's the side that you see, but we already know that oog is eye. But it's also the first side that someone has of you, usually. Dat is het gezicht, your face. So your face in general is called het gezicht because you see someone for the first time, they see you, etc. Volgende, de kin. Doesn't have anything to do with next of kin, but it does rhyme with kin. Het is your chin. Het is your chin. Ja, your chin is your kin. De laatste uit deze kolom. De keel. So literally like the veggie, right? De keel in English. And if you eat kale, it goes through your throat. So your throat is your kale. So that's a really good way of remembering. You eat kale, it goes through your throat. That's your kale. All right. Tweede kolom. Hier staat het been. Het been is, maybe, I'm not sure if this was right, but maybe the biggest bone kind of idea. It's your leg. Ooh, sorry. Your leg is your bane. Right? Maybe you can even think of it's beneath. Beneath kind of idea. Het been. All right. Volgende shouldn't be too hard. De voet. De voet is obviously je voet. Heel goed. Next one. Lees maar. Dat is je rug. Now, usually, if you're English, you tend to say this as a K. So then you get ruck. What kind of item can you think of with ruck? Like a rucksack. Where do you wear this? On your back. So your rug is your back. Okay? Not like back in the day or I'll go back. That's something else. But just your back from your lichaam. Dat is je rug. De rug. Volgende. De schouder. All right. Very, very similar. Notice that usually when we have a sh sound in English, we make it a sch sound. So make it super Dutch and add in a g. The schouder is your shoulder, of course. This one as well. Don't say the English way. We do say the K. So not knee, it's knie. De knie. The knie is, of course, your knee. Ja. Volgende. De elleboog. So make sure you say that E here. Not the elleboog, maar de elleboog. Elleboog is very similar and is your elbow. Okay. Volgende. De borst. De borst. Again, not too far off spelling wise, is your breast. This is your breast like your chest in general, but also the breast is in a female's breast as well. So we use the same word for those things. Usually the chest will be called een borstkas, like a literal chest, like a kast, like a closet. So your borstkas. But with men, you just usually leave out the kas and still say your borst as well. Volgende, de billen. De billen is your bum. So it's where you sit on, the billen, the butt cheeks as such. And again, butt cheeks is 2. That's for this one as well. So 1 bil, 2 billen. Nog 2 te gaan. Dit is de teen. Shouldn't be too hard thinking about what we still have left. Wat begint met een T in het Engels? Your toes. Or in this case, your toe specifically. De teen. Heel goed. And the last is also a bit of a funny one. So think about this one. De wenkbrauwen. You might have no idea just yet, but think about it this way. Wenk sounds like wink, and brau sounds like brown, but also like a frown. Okay, so it's something that you can frown with and wink with. We know it's not your oog, so it has to be your eyebrow. Okay, so there you go. Brow, and we call it like winkbrow or something instead of an eyebrow. So it's not an oogbrow, maar een wenkbrauw, if that makes sense. Okay, these are the body parts we are going to focus on today. All right, so get used to them. You know, you can even do some head, shoulders, knees, and toes now. We have the same version. So that's a fun song to listen to practice. En wij gaan nu naar onze 5 sensories, right? De 5 zintuigen van het lichaam. So see these 5 senses and see if you can relate them to the 5 senses in English. Which would they be? I mean, horen we know by now, that is to hear. Zien we know as well, which is see. Dan hebben we voelen, ruiken en proeven. Okay? Voelen, ruiken en proeven. Which would these be? So which one would be smell? That would be ruiken. You can think about something reeks. Yeah? Something smells, something reeks. Iets ruikt vies. Then we've got to feel. We know the F changes into a V, so there we go. Voelen is to feel. That leaves us with to taste, and that is proeven. You can think about it like it's proof that something tastes yummy. You need to try it first, right? You're gonna taste something, and then you decide whether it's yummy or not. So you need proof if it's good or not. Let's, before we try and make sentences with these words of today. I have I have 6 statements that are waar of niet waar. So true, that's what I was going to say, true or false. So not true, waar of niet waar. I want you to try and read these sentences and then also answer them with ja of nee and give the full sentence. So, for example, out of the question here, but like, mijn naam is Joyce. Then I would say, ja, mijn naam is Joyce. Of, mijn naam is Isa. Dan zeg ik, nee, mijn naam is niet Isa. Mijn naam is Joyce. So I want you to try and learn to speak with full sentences and work with that. So let's start with 1. Pause if you need to. So read the sentence and then say whether it's ja of nee and complete your sentence. If it's nee, I want you to try and say the right sentence for me. Ik heb 3 handen. Nee, ik heb geen 3 handen. Ik heb 2 handen. Oké? 2. Ik heb 2 benen. Ja, ik heb 2 benen. I mean, obviously, it depends per individual, but in general, ja, ik heb 2 benen. 3. Een voet heeft 8 tenen. Nee, een voet heeft geen 8 tenen. Een voet heeft 5 tenen. En 2 voeten hebben 10 tenen. 4. Ik heb 1 neus. Ja, ik heb 1 neus. So when you see the 2 trema's there, it means the actual number 1. And you really have to say 1, never een. 5. Ik heb 3 knieën. So if we want to say this one, you pretend there's a J sound there, or a Y for you. And you say knieën. That's what this umlaut is here for. Otherwise, it would be knieën. But we don't say that. We say knieën. Nee, ik heb geen 3 knieën. Ik heb 2 knieën. And last one, 6. Mijn linkerhand heeft 5 vingers. Ja, mijn linkerhand heeft 5 vingers. Heel goed, fantastisch. Alright. Nou, laten we nu kijken naar wat jij kan. Wat kan ik? So, waarmee is like where along, essentially. But we use waarmee to say like with what or how. Okay? So als ik zeg waarmee kan ik horen, like then I could say like how can I hear or with what can I hear? Ja? So wat zeg je dan? I can hear with bijvoorbeeld ik kan horen met mijn oren. Nou, it's rhyming here. Ik kan horen met mijn oren. Now, in this case, the may is some sort of like an along, and it goes along with a verb. In this case, horen. In this case, you can say like I can hear, but now the met, this with, relates to the oren. So with what you can hear. So now I have to say met. So met is essentially with, and may is essentially along rather than with. Waarmee kan ik zien? Met what body part? Met welk lichaamsdeel kan jij zien? Ik kan zien met mijn ogen. And notice how I've also pluralized them, because we don't have 1 oor waarmee je hoort, maar 2 oren. En niet 1 oog waarmee je ziet, maar 2 ogen. So usually we have the en, but also notice that I now write 1 o, because it's oren, ogen. If I write 2 o's, it's kind of still unnecessary. We don't really need it. So we don't write it. Waarmee kan ik voelen? Waarmee voel jij? Ik kan voelen met mijn handen en vingers. Oké? Waarmee kan ik ruiken? Ik kan ruiken met mijn neus. En waarmee kan ik proeven? Ik kan proeven met mijn mond. And I've added an tong, which obviously is tongue. So it's a shorter version. Tong. Not tongue, maar tong. So I do really want to hear that O sound there. Ik kan proeven met mijn mond en tong. All right, heel goed. Okay, then I'm going into a little bit of grammar here and discuss or rediscuss the verbs. Now, if you need more help with the regular verbs, go back to the earlier lessons when we discussed that. But now I particularly want to go and focus about hebben and zijn. So here are the two tables with hebben and zijn. So whenever I say to have, which is meant to be the infinitive, where the verb comes from, we say hebben. In English, we also have to be, which is often a bit confusing to people, but that's called the infinitive as well. And for us, that's zijn. So whenever you say be, like I want to be here, then we actually say zijn as well. Now, for hebben, it's a bit easier, as it's quite regular in relation to our normal conjugation, except for the has, which is also similar in English. So everything is have. It's not haves, which you normally would say. They've narrowed it down to has. Okay. So we've done the same because we just have ik heb, the en takeaway, and then a single b because we don't write double b. Then for jij, we naturally always added t, which is done here as well. So jij hebt. Just like in English, this is irregular, so we made it irregular as well. We say heeft. So it's like hey feet, essentially. So hij heeft. This I really need you to nail down, as many people do it wrong. So I want you to stay focused and really put in the intention with hij heeft. Then naturally, the en is our plural, and we use that here as well. So we add the en again, hebben, jullie hebben, zij hebben. I've also added the past tense. So in English, you say I had, he had, we had. It's literally all the same. In Dutch, pretty much true. It's literally the same word, but we do make the distinction again for our plurals and add the en. So it doesn't sound like had, it does sound like ik had. Hij had. And then wij hadden. Right? So then I say the D again. Wij hadden. Dat is hebben. Then we go to zijn. We 100% now know ik ben. And jij still follows the same rule with adding the T. Jij bent. Then we go back to saying the similar thing in English. So is remains is. And for plurals, it is very irregular, but we do see that N here. And we just need to remember that when we talk about are in plural, so we are, you are, they are, we have to say zijn. So going back from plural to singular, there is a big jump. But same as M and R and is are also not really the same and hard to come by, right? Then in past tense, was is again the same, so that's easy. Ik was, hij was, and for singular, it is the same. Now, were is a bit tricky, but it's kind of like a combination between knowing your Dutch with en and combining was and were together, and then you get waren. Waren. So you start with your was, and then you add ren. And you have your en there. So waren. Okay, dat is onze hebben en zijn. Again, the more we practice and use these type of sentences, the easier they will stick. Okay, I've had students who have been raised by two Dutch parents in Australia, and the eldest still say hij hebt all of the time. And we really had to like nail it down where I had to say hij hebt, and then he would know. So he would know at this point, but because of always saying it wrong, he had to like literally hammer it out. And now he says hij heeft. So that can be tricky, but it's also a positive thing for you, especially if you haven't had that particular training. So you can actually learn and teach yourself it has to be hij heeft, right? And learn it the right way. So it can work in your advance. But the more we say it, the more it sticks. So let's make it stick, okay? I want you to read the sentences. These are sentences on topics that we have had before, but you might still not know all of the words. That is okay. I want you to try and guess the context and try and see whether you use a form of have or to be. So do I fill in have or has, or do I actually fill in am, are, or is? And then you want to translate that to Dutch and match it to the right person. I encourage you to now pause the video. So pauzeer de video, lees alles zinnen hardop en dan kijk je naar het antwoord. So pause the video, do the exercise yourself by reading out the sentences out loud, write down the words, and then in a second, I'll read out the sentences, including the right verb, and explain after. So by pausing the video, you really encourage yourself to do the exercise yourself first and trust that you'll be doing it right. And if not, that you have the opportunity to learn why it's not right. Okay? If you really need to, feel free to translate the words, but try and do it yourself first. Try and trust your instinct here, okay? I think you know more than you think you know. All right, laten we beginnen. Pauzeer de video nu. En ik ga nu de zinnen voorlezen. So I'll read the sentences first with the answers and then I'll explain so that you can hear all the sentences and can kind of like listen in and repeat. Waarom hebben jullie nooit geld bij je? Op dit model heeft u 3 jaar garantie. Wie heeft gisteren een nieuwe mobiele telefoon gekocht? Je hebt gelijk, ik vergis me. Deze auto heeft nieuwe remmen en een nieuwe motor. Ik ben blij dat je me even wilt helpen. Wij zijn al bijna 20 jaar getrouwd. Ahmed is vandaag een beetje zenuwachtig. Hij moet rijexamen doen. Jij bent gek. Natuurlijk kan dat niet. Deze producten zijn in de aanbieding en u krijgt 10% korting. Now, in this case, they weren't really mix and match. And you might have thought, that's funny. But I kind of did that on purpose to help you a little bit. So the first 5 are hebben sentences and the next 5 are zijn sentences. Okay? So to translate, like, why do you never have money with you? Okay, this is plural jullie, so I need plural hebben. On this model, you, formal, have 3 years of guarantee, like of warranty. Okay, so it's needs, you can say u hebt as well, but it's being formal and informal at the same time. It's more pleasant to still use u heeft in this case as well. Who has, you hear the has, bought a new phone yesterday. Okay. Now, this is difficult because in English we say you are right. I got confused. I've been mistaken. Okay. In this case, you have a right, we say. So this is new. So it's very understandable if you said here, je bent gelijk. But if you say je bent gelijk in Dutch, you say you are equal rather than you are right. So that's a bit of a twister there. So je bent gelijk is you are equal to me or to whatever the topic is. And je hebt gelijk is you are right. Okay. This car has new brakes and a new motor. That should be fairly easy. And we match heeft to this car, which is an it. I am happy that you want to help me for a while. So I am happy, ik ben blij. Okay. This one is we have been married for almost 20 years. In this case, we say in English, we have been married or we are married. We are married, but in Dutch, we still say that we are, okay? So rather than we have been married, I want you to really think we are married for almost 20 years. We use zijn hier, wij zijn, because being married is a big life change. And when there's big life changes, we kind of use zijn over hebben. So you can't say wij hebben al bijna 20 jaar getrouwd. Ahmed is a little bit nervous today. He needs to do his driver's exam. Okay, so Ahmed is, same here. You are crazy. Of course, that's not possible. Of course, that can't happen. So you are crazy. Jij bent gek. These products are in the sale or on discount. You get a 10% off, a 10% discount. So these products are, deze producten zijn. So that is our explanation. What have we learned? Most of the time you can translate it, and sometimes we have a different way of thinking about it, and therefore we use a different verb, like you are right, or we have been married. So those are a bit different. Okay, you will find other other exercises on these as well. Now, the next one is a translating exercise, and whilst I probably will also put something similar in the portal for you to do, I've chosen to do this exercise with me so I can actually also explain these sentences to you as you go. Again, the English sentences will have the verb in bold, and I want you to translate these sentences as best as you can. Again, pause the video, translate the sentences, and then I'll go through them as we go along. Okay? So pauzeer de video. En nu ga ik de zinnen laten zien. Dit is, ik eet een boterham. Fairly easy. Should know these words, so should be good. Dit is, jij lacht, so it's you laugh. Jij lacht heel luid. Okay, so loud is similar. You'll see that the ow usually changes into an I, which doesn't make it easier for you to say, but it is a very handy tip here. So jij lacht met een T. Very is heel. En luid. Dit is ik kauw op mijn kauwgom. So that's actually the same. Gum is the gum, but one word. And chewing is actually the same as well. So fairly easy. Zij rent met haar voeten. Make sure you say this is haar, like your hair. And that you match rent to zij. He looks at her eyes. Hij kijkt naar haar ogen. Okay, he looks towards her eyes, we say. So looking at, looking towards is what we say. So if you always say looking at, you now know that you have to say kijken naar. So that is our match together. We don't hear you. Wij horen je niet. So the niet goes last because the object of, who we're trying to hear has to go before the niet. You talk too quickly. Je praat te snel. So too is te and snel is quick or fast. Do you guys want to drink some water? We've had our sum in our live classes before. It's the same as the English question word what. So willen jullie wat water drinken? The guys, we don't have to translate, but I've added an in here to make sure that you saw it was plural. So jullie. Want is willen. Willen jullie wat water drinken? Willen is your main verb in our question, and then drinken therefore goes last. I cry alone. Here, you can see it's alone, but it's all one. So think about what one is and all. Ik huil alleen. Here we have our double L, so that's actually quite funny. Alleen. We do the groceries, should be fairly easy here. Wij doen de boodschappen. He holds my hand. Vasthouden is what we call a separable verb. So that means that the verb houden, hold, needs to be separated from was, which is like tight. As we know, the main verb, in this case houden, always goes second. And then because was is a preposition but is connected to the verb, it's a phantom verb. And we know that if we have more than one verb, it goes last. So that's what's happening with vast. Hij houdt mijn hand vast. Notice how I take away the en and still have to add the t. In writing, we sometimes see that they forget it because the d at the end already sounds like a t. But in writing, we really do have to write it. Otherwise, it would be like hij maakt instead of hij maakt. I grab the ball. Shouldn't be too hard. Ik pak de bal with one L at the end. You stand on both feet. Jij staat op, you're on it, op beide voeten. Make sure you pluralize this one. I sit on the train. Niet, ik zit op de trein, because that would literally be the rooftop. We're in the train. Ik zit in de trein. They are listening to music. Zij luisteren naar muziek. That's what I would say to make it direct. I could possibly also say, zij zijn naar muziek aan het luisteren. More words, we can't say it just really direct and leave out the R. We point to them with our fingers. Wij wijzen naar hen, just like kijken naar, right? Naar hen met onze vingers, because it's de vingers, so we have to say onze. All right, cool. Now a little bit of a check-in. We're going back to Het Lichaam, and I want you to try to see which words you can and cannot remember. Then you know that with the words that don't come up straight away, that those need a little bit of focus. Always a good one to go back to as well. So you'll see circles and then try and say what it means in het Nederlands. Hier gaan we. De head, het hoofd. The hand and the fingers. De hand en de vingers. En de vingers. The leg, het been, or the benen, if you want to say them both. And pause in between if you need time to think as well. The knee, the knie, the feet and the toes, de voeten en de tenen. Dus de voet, de voeten, de teen, de tenen. The face, het gezicht. The ear, het oor of de oren. New one, hair is haar. Bonus one. So it's the same as her, haar. Eye, oog of de ogen. Nose, de neus of de neuzen. Mouth, de mond, de monden. Eyebrow, de wenkbrauw of de wenkbrauwen. Chin, de kin of de kinnen. Throat, de keel of de kelen. En chest, de buik, de buiken, de borst, de borsten. So a lot of these will all end in en. The arm, and the armen. The elbow, de elleboog, and the ellebogen. The chest, again, de borst en de borsten. En dat was hem. Wauw, heel veel woorden voor ons lichaam. So I encourage you to go through the vocabulary list and work on those words as well as you're trying to go to get familiar with the body parts. Next time we're talking about being sick and being comfortable to talk about what's wrong, what's happening, and have a little bit of a conversation about that. Dat is het voor nu. En ik zie je in les 2. Tot dan. Doei.